A woman heads to a class as a substitute teacher for 1 week. She orders the students to sit down and introduces herself. A boy named Sagami is intrigued by this unfamiliar face. The teacher writes her name on the board and introduces herself as Asuka Nakamachi. After telling the students that she's wanted to be a teacher for a long time, she continues with her lesson. Later at night, after all the students have left, the teacher scours through the school building and hears some noise. She points her torch at the nameplate of the music room, where the noise is coming from. She heads inside and finds a boy singing and playing the guitar. But as soon as the boy sees the teacher, he runs and jumps off the building, runs to his bike, and takes off. The teacher is taken aback but spots a mini recorder which has the recording of the boy's earlier takes. The teacher seems to like his voice. Meanwhile, the student realizes that he left his recorder in the music room and heads back. He sees the teacher listening to his recording, and the teacher asks him to sing for her. He plays his guitar, and the teacher seems to love it. Later, Asuka is unemployed and witnesses her friend being proposed to. She tells the couple that she has found a good job as a live-in house mother. The money and benefits seem too good, so she decides to call the people who posted about the job. She later heads to their abode and meets a man named Kenji Soi, the manager for Hanamaki Entertainment. Kenji says he will hire her for a 2-week trial, after which her position will be permanent. While talking to her, Kenji accidentally tells her that their previous house mother ran away. He quickly diverts Asuka's attention and shows her the room she will be staying in. The house seems to be a mess. Kenji explains to her that she will have to prepare breakfast at 7 a.m. and lunch only when requested. He continues that dinner should be ready by 6:30 p.m. He tells her about stocking the fridge and doing laundry. As the duo sits down, Kenji explains that she will be living with young men and that romance with them is absolutely prohibited. If anything of the sort happens, she will be fired on the spot. Asuka assures him that he will never receive such a complaint. Kenji explains that the men who live here are a boy band called Bloom. They aren't as popular now as they were before. They don't have any hits or fans. Sagami, the former student of Asuka, is also in the band. Later, as he returns home, he is surprised to see his teacher in his home. As he is about to fall back from the shock, he holds on to Asuka, and they both fall together in an awkward position. The other members of the group walk in and misunderstand. Asuka, flustered, clears up that she is their house mother. The boys put Asuka to work, giving her their laundry. Later, she tries to meet with Sagami, but he doesn't seem to remember her. Asuka decides to search the boys up online. Asuka wakes up early in the morning to prepare breakfast. Sagami doesn't want to eat and seems pissed at Asuka. Another member heads to school. The president of the company arrives and eats some food. He later takes Asuka to the company and shows her the band performing. She finds out that the man she just met wasn't the president. The boy band explains that they don't know who he is either, but he seems to be someone running the company. Another member with a great sense of smell senses the president coming. She's a woman who explains that she will be canceling the group's contract in half a year since she can't renew it. The band fights about another member leaving, and Sagami heads out, telling Asuka that there are better boy bands debuting. Asuka urges Sagami not to let go of his dream, but Sagami recounts Asuka leaving her dream to be a teacher and tells her he won't listen to someone who can't even do what they want. After gaining some motivation, the boy band heads to their president's office and tells her they want to renew their contract. The president tells them she will prepare a stage for them in 2 weeks. Later, the boy group prepares for their comeback. As they head to perform, a woman, Chunny's manager, leads them to a practice room where they will later be performing. Chunny wishes them luck. The boy group heads to the stage after Chunny finishes performing and introduces themselves before performing. The boy group delivers an outstanding performance, and Asuka gets emotional. Later, the president tells Bloom that if they reach number 1 on the streaming chart in the next 6 months, she will renew their contract. Asuka wakes up, prepares breakfast, does the laundry, and takes out the trash. The boy members also wake up and get ready for the day. Sagami makes some breakfast for himself, and they all sit down to eat. The manager, Kenji, steps in and tells the boys they have to head out in 20 minutes. Asuka meets with the president and signs a contract, making her officially a permanent house mother for the boys. Asuka heads to the boys, who are having a shoot, and is taken aback by their clothes. The high-ranking company member from before steps in and has the boys styled as bad boys. They look like gangsters, and Asuka still isn't sure about their styling. She suggests a flower concept for the photo shoot. Later, the boys complain they have nothing scheduled for the next month, and Sagami says he will sort it out. He sends a lengthy schedule to the boys, which includes waking up at 5 a.m. and going on a run. He also takes Asuka's phone and sends her the meal plan. Narose explains to Asuka that Sagami became a loner after he pressured another member, causing him to leave. Narose also hopes that Asuka doesn't quit. The boy group has an opportunity to perform at a shopping mall, and they prepare for it. Later, Asuka heads out for a party, vowing to promote the band. As she leaves, a lot of time passes, and Asuka still hasn't returned. Sagami contemplates calling her and gets a call from her during his contemplation. Sagami makes his way to Asuka and notices her trying to promote his band to older people. He is embarrassed and taken aback. Asuka, who is very drunk, is given some water to sober up by Sagami. He carries Asuka back home, and they talk as they head back. The next day, the old man, Tori, comes again and wishes the boy group good luck on their mascot costume show. The boy group and Asuka are confused as the pamphlet doesn't even have Bloom written on it. Asuka goes to confirm, as this isn't what she signed the boy group up for. Asuka apologizes and heads to cancel as she doesn't want the boys to be in costumes. The next day, Asuka is nowhere to be seen, but she has left breakfast on the table. Asuka is with her friend in a mascot costume. Meanwhile, the boy group eats what Asuka made for them and realizes Asuka went to help out at the festival. A woman walks in, apologizes for the miscommunication, and wants to apologize to Asuka as well. She takes the boys to the shopping center. As the boys walk through the center, they notice people wearing their merch. They are shocked, and a few old people come up to them and express their love as fans. The group walks up to the mascot they believe Asuka is in and asks her what she wants them to do. She points at the flyer and tells them to perform. They are okay with it but wonder if Sagami would be fine. At that moment, they are confused as Asuka calls for them from the back and heads to them. They wonder who the person in the mascot is, and it turns out to be Sagami. He lies that he was wearing the mascot to kill time. The video of Sagami goes viral. The next day, Asuka wakes up to find the boys, Mac and Cheney, making breakfast and doing chores. Kusaka informs them that their followers have increased by 40%, and the next day, the boys learn they will be performing on TV. Everyone is overjoyed by the news. Later, Asuka takes a dog walk with Sagami but hurries back after receiving a call from her friend. The apartment is cluttered, and everything is a mess. The boys confess they only cleaned the surface to appear independent in front of Kusaka, admitting they know nothing about chores. They also broke the washing machine by overloading it. As Asuka reassures them, Kusaka walks in and asks about the mess, comparing them to Cheney. Asuka speaks up, telling Kusaka not to compare Bloom with Cheney. Later, while filming with a famous weather broadcaster, the boys are interrupted by some noise. They go downstairs and encounter Asuka's friend's fiancé, who cheated and ridicules her, recounting favors he did for Asuka. The boys stand up for her, and after the ordeal ends, Kusaka apologizes to everyone and tells Asuka she doesn't want her to leave. Sagami invites Asuka on a date, which his fellow group members misunderstand. He explains that the president told him they need to do something different from their usual routine. As the group's producer, Sagami has never written a love song. The boys gather to talk about love, sharing stories about their first loves to get inspiration for their new song. Asuka and Sagami agree to go on the date, later accompanied by the rest of the members when they visit the zoo. They have fun with the animals, and Asuka takes multiple pictures of the boys. While sitting on a bench, Asuka reveals she was a teacher before, which interests the boys. They explore different parts of the zoo, with Asuka accompanied by Sagami and Naris. While Sagami gets refreshments, Naris reveals that a recorder Sagami held recorded Asuka encouraging him in the music room. Whenever Sagami feels down, he listens to it. Asuka is taken aback, and when Sagami arrives, he confesses that he listens to it but sees Asuka differently now. Asuka takes some time off to help her sister's shop, which has been booming due to Cheney's post on SNS promoting her food. When the boys leave their practice room, they meet their managers, who offer to buy them food. Sagami declines, wanting to go home. On his way, he meets Nao and asks her to fix the cabinet doors Asuka struggled to open. Nao seems down after hearing Sagami wants the door fixed for Asuka's convenience. Sagami runs to Asuka, tells her he fixed the door, apologizes for what he said at the zoo, awkwardly embraces her, and runs away. He then writes the lyrics for the new song and starts producing it while Asuka does laundry. Sagami sings the song he produced, and the members record their new comeback song. Asuka is informed that Bloom's new song ranks at number 87. If they don't reach number 1 by next week, their contract may not be renewed. Asuka brings lunch for the boys to cheer them up. She catches up with Now, asking if the boys are all right and apologizing for overhearing the conversation about the ranking with the manager. Asuka asks Now for her support, and Now tells her to convey a message to Sagami, wishing him luck and looking forward to her reward. Sagami unintentionally reads his bandmates' notes detailing the strengths and talents of the other members. The manager arrives and informs the band they will perform 2 songs, Melody and Come Again, which will be broadcasted on The King's Brunch, gaining them publicity. The band thanks the manager, who asks them to ensure they carry out their promotional activities. The members and Asuka are overjoyed. The manager takes Asuka aside, hands her a gift, and thanks her for pointing out a smudge on her clothes the other day. The boys hold a meeting, and Sagami notices Asuka helping his bandmates speak up. They practice hard every day, promoting their new song, and their popularity among teens and teenagers seems to be booming. As Asuka folds laundry, she meets Sagami, who tells her to give Now a gift as repayment, but Sagami refuses, saying he has someone else on his mind. At practice, Tori expresses that he loves someone and leaves abruptly. The members wonder who it could be and assume it's the president. They later find out that Tori is actually the president's gigolo, surprising even Kenji. The manager tells the boys to relax as their big day is coming up. They unwind at the bathhouse where Now works. As he leaves, Sagami hands Now a ticket to Bloom's pre-Christmas live special as repayment. Takara hurts his leg while heading home with Asuka, who is worried. He asks her to keep it a secret from his groupmates, but Asuka tells him that no one will be happy if he hides his injury. Sagami agrees, and the bandmates take Takara to the hospital, where the doctor says it's a torn ligament that will take 2 weeks to heal. Takara feels stupid and inferior but is encouraged by his bandmates. They head home, and the band performs for a big audience, singing beautifully as everyone enjoys the show. A few days later, Bloom is on top of the charts, trending at number 1. Asuka cries happy tears, and Sagami tells her he is coming to meet her. As soon as he arrives, Now jumps and hugs him tight, shocking Sagami. He doesn't have time to react and leaves to find Asuka, who has headed back inside. Asuka apologizes for interrupting, and Sagami tries to clarify his relationship with Now. Now's phone rings, but he ignores it and tells Asuka he doesn't want to be misunderstood. Just as he is about to confess his love, the other members arrive, and Asuka congratulates them on hitting number 1. The boys pack up, preparing for their busy schedule. Asuka visits her friend's house, telling her she has been catching up on her favorite manga since she has more time. Her friend asks about her relationship with Sagami, and Asuka is taken aback, insisting there's nothing between them. Asuka heads home and sees a beaten-up cake nearby. She sits down to eat, and some boys come home, telling her the others are filming duet videos while Sagami is busy. Neris mentions that Yuki choreographed dance moves for their upcoming promotional event at Sagami's old high school, where Asuka used to teach. Yuki considers inviting Reizik, their former member who also studied with Sagami, but IG disagrees, leading to an argument. Asuka heads out to buy something but gets caught in the rain. She is met by Sagami, who shares his umbrella with her. They have an awkward moment, and Asuka heads to buy her own umbrella. When she reaches home, she finds the apartment vandalized. Someone threw a bottle onto their balcony, breaking a pot. The agency hears the news and moves the boys to a hotel temporarily. Later, Asuka meets Reizik, who is attempting to vandalize the apartment again with a rock. Asuka takes him inside, and he asks if she will report him. He rambles about his bandmates, but they step in just in time, expressing their worry since he quit without saying anything. Reizik admits he wanted to quit while he still had a life to go back to and told this to Sagami, who didn't tell anyone. Reizik asks if he can leave if they aren't calling the police, and Sagami tells him to do as he wishes. Reizik confesses to Asuka that he had many feelings pent up but feels better after venting. Asuka advises Reizik to watch his former bandmates perform. Reizik and Asuka rush to Bloom's performance, arriving late. Reizik tears up as he reminisces about his past with the band. After the performance, the group tries to clear everything up. Sagami realizes Asuka isn't with Razik and looks for her, thinking about her past comments about not wanting to enter the school because she disappointed her peers. Asuka struggles to breathe and is met by Sagami, who asks her what's wrong. Iani, a former colleague of Asuka's, takes her into his car and asks her how she's feeling and if she's calmed down a bit. She tells him that she feels all right. Ikani tells her that he will drop her off at her home, but she says that he doesn't have to do that much and can just drop her at the nearest station. However, he drops her off later. When the boys return home, they are met with a homemade cake that Asuka made. During a meeting with the head manager and Kenji, the president asks them about Asuka's collapse, and Kenji tells him about the situation. Yuki heads to Nao and tells her that they are throwing a party for Asuka tomorrow and asks Nao if she would like to join. Yuki is sure that everyone would be happy to see her, but Nao expresses that Sagami wouldn't, as he recently rejected her. Yuki yells in shock, and Nao tells him to shut up, but Yuki continues his reassurance. Asuka's past is shown. She was a great teacher who never turned down people asking her for a favor, even though they were just using her. A student named Nita consulted her as she wanted to study abroad. The teacher encouraged this, and later Nita's mother came to complain about this as she wasn't financially able to support her daughter to study abroad. While this meeting was going on between Nita's mom and the teachers, Asuka wasn't allowed in. Once busy with all the favors she was asked, Asuka lost some answer sheets, leaving her to be ridiculed by her students and peers. After this, Asuka stopped working at the school and rested for about a year. From then on, she was able to help her friend out with her bento business. Later, the party for Asuka is held, and she gets a bunch of gifts from the members and some food that they made. They even bring out a cake they made. They continue to thank Asuka for being their house mother. After the party ends, Sagami confesses his love to Asuka. Bloom promotes their new comeback song before its release, and it's on the top of the charts. Asuka goes on a date with a former colleague, and he thanks her. Later, as she heads home, the president comes to meet the group. Excitement crackles in the air as the Bloom boys huddle together. The news is incredible. They've landed their first nationwide tour. This is a dream come true, a massive leap forward on their musical journey. But amidst the celebratory high fives, Dan surprises everyone with his next move. He wants one of the members to be a producer for the music video so it gains more attention. Neris, the quiet member, gulps nervously as Dan announces him as the director for their upcoming music video. This is a huge vote of confidence, a chance for Neris to truly shine. The music video takes place next to the bright blue sea of Japan. Natos directs the crew on how to film the MV. They had to eat some food after finishing the filming. The MV gets released, and it's on the top charts for a long time. But suddenly, there are rumors going around. Sagami finds himself in a scandal. He finds an article about him being in a relationship with his house mother. This will affect the future of the group, and the company is in chaos. Noru asks Asuka to resign and leave their dorm at once.